In this video, we're going to show you defensive stunts that are commonly run at the NFL and college level and how they can affect the offensive line from both a run perspective and a pass perspective. So before we actually dive into these stunts, we got to tell you exactly what a stunt is. So a stunt or a game or anything with the defensive line is essentially to disrupt the offensive line. So for instance, you may see what we call a penetrator. Someone who's just their main job is just to penetrate the line of scrimmage. And then you may see a player looping around. There's a variety of different combinations that we're going to cover in this, but this is what we're talking about when we talk about stunts is how can we loop somebody, penetrate somebody, or disrupt somebody enough that way we can get a player free to the inside or even to the outside. Now, the first stunt that we're going to cover what's called a NAT stunt. And a lot of these stunts are abbreviated for who's the penetrator first and then who's the looper second. So we talk about NAT, we're going to have the nose first. He's going to cross the face of the center, nose and tackle, okay, NAT. And then the tackle is going to punch and then loop here to the backside A gap. This stunt is great against interior lines that either like to half slide or they like to determine that this guard and this tackle, which we covered in our slide protection video, we'll link above if you want to check that out. This will give you a free rusher on the edge here. But the point is the nose needs to take the center with him and then the tackle can loop to the inside. And this is also great against teams that like to run gap schemes, whether it be power, counter, and they like to pull guards and tackles. You can use this nose as, if the center blocks back this way, the nose will cross his face, and then you have a free hitter here to the inside. Now, there is a read element to this called torch. It's famously known as torch, where both of these nose and tackles will line up over the guards, and they're both reading the center. If the center steps this way, the nose is going to cross face him just like that. And then this player is going to slant this way. So you notice we have both A gaps covered, but it's all based off where the football is going. If the center steps this way, he's going to loop it, and then he's going to slant backside. So a lot of coaches will say, hey, we're just going to run a NAT stunt. Regardless if they're a gap scheme or a zone team, we want this guy to penetrate here. We want this guy to loop over first. So teams that want to just call it, we'll call it a NAT stunt. Teams that want to read it, we'll call it torch stunt. So there is a difference between the two, but teams that run a lot of guard tackle pull, this NAT stunt and this torch stunt is great to run against the run game. Next is what's called a tan stunt. And a tan stunt, you probably guessed it, is just the tackle is going to be the penetrator and then the nose is going to be the looper. So what you're going to get is a tackle primarily in a 3 technique on the outside shoulder here. And his job is just to get to the inside and penetrate this A gap as fast as possible. But you notice just based on the front, what will happen is the guard will have to take the tackle will have to take this defensive end right here. So as he begins his loop, you're going to get this from the nose looping up and around. So a lot of times you have a more athletic nose tackle that can do this, not your typical 300-pounder that can't really move very well. But if this player is athletic, you'll see the penetrator here from the tackle. And then again, this nose is just trying to punch and then loop to this B gap. So that way you have the front side A and B gap still covered if it is a run, but mainly this is run on pass downs to try to get that looper free to the quarterback's throwing hand if he is a righty, or this will oftentimes be run if he's a lefty. That way he can't step up in the pocket and deliver the ball. Next, we're going to talk about the ET and the TE stunt. So first, we'll start with the ET stunt, which, again, you guessed it, we're going to have the end first that's going to be penetrating, and then the tackle is going to be the looper. So you're going to see this from the end. He's going to penetrate this B gap, and this tackle is just going to touch the guard and then loop back around here. So again, you're getting some edge penetration from the B gap to the A gap. So this player is able to be violently aggressive down into that gap, and then the tackle is just going to loop around. This is great for, again, if the team is running inside zone this way and you have this player playing hard to the inside and the quarterback wants to hand the football off, he's going to have a tackle that loops. Teams will run it, if I'll adjust this here, where we're going to move the quarterback over. Okay, you can trick the quarterback into handing off the football. So let's say they are running the zone this way, and you're going to get this guy crashing hard here. The quarterback thinks that he's crashing it. Well, there's your looper right there to interfere with the zone read. So coaches will do this based off the back, or they'll do it just to get a pass rush in if they know that this end can beat this tackle to the inside. It's a great way to get a more athletic defensive tackle to the outside as a looper. Now, next is the TE stunt. So the tackle is actually going to be the penetrator, and then the end is going to be the looper. And this is actually very common in the NFL or college levels because it helps to cancel out gaps. So I can cancel 3 gaps essentially with 2 players. So what's going to happen is this tackle is going to penetrate through his B gap, but then work to the outside to contain. So really he's going B gap to C gap on pass. And then this end is going to go 1-2 to influence this tackle out. And then now he's your A gap looper up and through, okay? Every NFL team, I guarantee if you put on a game on Sunday, you're going to see some version of this because it's a great way to set a new pocket through the B gap and then get your athletic defensive end up and through the A gap. The path here from the tackle is very important because if he does get stonewalled and doesn't move, the quarterback can then run freely to the outside. So the whole point of this TE stunt is, again, to create, and let's say we run it from both sides here, we'll give you a better visual of it. The nose here is going to get up and through. So you notice we created a new pocket here for the quarterback, and that's where these loopers come up and through. Again, up and through. And you usually, if they are man protecting it, this is where you get a free rusher here because he's going to kick out. He's going to kick out. And let's say we do get a center sliding this way, the guard slides this way, tackle slides this way. So now you notice this end here has a free rush to the inside, and the running back has to pick up a defensive end running full head of steam at him to try to block him. Okay, it's very tough to do. So again, teams will do, if you watch the Minnesota Vikings, they're great at this where they're going to walk guys up to simulate. They're going to bring six, they'll bail these guys out. They'll run these stunts to the inside. But again, the whole premise is, could we set a new pocket with our tackle and nose? And then can we get these ends looping to the inside and cancel out those A, B, and C gaps as they're looping through? Next, we're going to talk about a boss twist. And it's similar to the TE stunt, but the setup is everything. And this is becoming more and more common in the NFL where we call it a boss front. That's what it's known by, where it's bigs on the same side. So we're going to take all bigs and we're going to put them all to the left side here. What's that going to do? That's going to force the center to slide this way. So you're going to get the center, guard, tackle all working this way. So if I know as a defense, I can dictate where the offense is going to slide to. I can play games with it, or I can run stunts to it. So what you're going to get here is the nose is going to penetrate here. The tackle is going to penetrate B to C, just like we did. And then here's your looper all the way up and through. So you're hoping what you can do is give some sort of premise here with the mic. That way the guard has to stay and respect that, and then tackle will be one-on-one on the backside. So we're trying to occupy this guard, whether by showing a rush or keeping him back. That way this looper can get up and through clean. Again, we've established a new pocket here with this B to C rush. It's also called copping. We're going to contain on pressure to the outside. So get through the B to C, establish this new pocket here, again, with this nose pressing up, and then there's your looper right there at the inside. Okay, so we call this a boss twist, but essentially we're trying to get bigs on the same side and then try to create that TE stunt to the inside to try to get a free hit as the center slides. Next, we're going to talk about the X stunt. Now, the X stunt is used to manipulate the center. That way we can get a free rusher around him. So you'll normally see it in this front here where you'll have two players that are in 3 techniques and two players that are in 5 techniques. And they're just going to give you a base rush here to try to set a new pocket and try to condense that quarterback to the inside. Now, the key comes from the Sam and Mike. You can do it from an odd front. I think visualization-wise, the best way to do it here is from an even front. Now, the Sam is going to run first. If he gets the center's face to him, he's then going to work cross face. What that does is it pulls the center this way. Well, when the center goes that way, there's your X stunt right there. He hits the A gap clean. So ideally, it looked like this here. If he picks him up and steps to him, again, around his face, and then you're getting it here. So you see the X stunts made right there. But this is great against, again, teams that are going to fan out to these players. They're not going to, if they're going to man protect it, how can we manipulate that man protection? Again, this is a great way. But the synchronicity of the Sam and Mike needs to happen at the same time, right? If he goes first and then he's late to it, the running back can just pick it up. So we need that cross to happen now where both these players are moving at the same time. Ball snapped, I'm here, and I'm trying to work upfield, and then I'm there as well. And we're trying to get that Mike linebacker one-on-one with the running back and trying to get him at full speed. That way the quarterback has to make a quick decision to throw the football. So those are the most common defensive stunts you'll see on Sundays and Saturdays while watching the NFL or college. If you like learning about these stunts, we have the Ultimate Football Guide in the description below. It's going to take you deeper into football so you can learn even more. As always, if you have questions, leave them in the comments. We're happy to get back to them. Thanks for watching. Check out this video here next to learn even more football, and we'll see you next time.